Hello there, everybody. This is Michael here. We're going to be continuing on with our playthrough of Dark Souls 2, but this time we're going to be going to the good old-fashioned Black Gulch, which is at the very bottom of the gutter. I don't know if we're going to be fighting the boss of this area, because we have a lot to do in that area, including getting the key that will unlock those doors in both the gutter and the pit in Majula, in order to get some very, very good items. I'm wearing the same stuff as I did last time. However, I did bump my dexterity up to 18 so I could use the Dragon Rider bow, which is going to be very handy. I've also purchased around 1,000 arrows, and I'm going to be going down there right now. We're going to need those arrows, and even if you just have the basic unupgraded bow and have base stats to use it, you probably should bring it along in order to get to a very annoying little area. But let's take a look at the Black Gulch. This next area is very, very small. This occurred to me while I was playing in the Iron Keep. I just looked out at one area, and I noticed that I could see the entire level with just with one glance. The entire thing could be summed up with one look. And that is annoying. That's not appropriate. They really should not have that much there. In that, they shouldn't have so little there that I could just look at one section of it and see the entire thing there. Also bringing some fire bombs with me. And here we have these little bastards. Yeah, they're all over the damn place. And they are annoying as hell. I'm going to actually be using my fist to smash them rather than my weapon, because I don't want to use up the durability on my claymore. But it's obviously a lot harder to hit them like this because you have to get very close. And the entire area from here to the boss room is a gigantic wall of these slimy, poison-spewing statues. And like I said, it's hard to run through them because they design them to... Look at me, I staggered with one of these in the face. And 2 hits of these things will make you poison. And your shield... See? Yep. I have a fair amount of poison moss, though. Now, I almost never do this to go where I'm about to go, but I'm going to be proceeding a little bit along the normal place you're supposed to go at this level. But then I will be showing you a shortcut. It is not an acceptable shortcut to me, because it is, the shortcut is based on you randomly finding a secret area, not so much on you progressing to, say, 40 or 50% of the way through the level, and then unlocking something that makes you able to jump from the original area to this. This guy is annoying. Now take a look at those little pools over there. They're little ponds full of oil, essentially. And if you throw a flammable item or a fire arrow or any kind of flammable material over at them, I don't have any fire arrows, so I'm going to use the fire bombs or use a fire spell, or attack them with a fire weapon like the fire longsword that we got in one of the earlier episodes, it will combust. And let's see if we can do that. Yes, it will, and you'll notice we have aggroed some of the coolest enemies in this game. However, they are also incredibly annoying enemies because they have a grab attack. They're essentially a black hand, which maybe is supposed to be reminiscent of Manus's hand, and a lamprey mouth. I wish the bodies would land here so I can look at them. But those things are going to burn for a while, but eventually will dissipate. All the oil is going to burn out of them. And the things that live in there, like I said, they're really cool. Unusually for this game, there were enemies that were... and you see, they hit you when you're trying to attack them. I hate that. There are enemies in the game. I think those 2 might hit me, but... Well, anyway. These are enemies in the game that are not just some random armored dude. And those are definitely in the minority in this game. However, they also have a grab attack, which makes them very dangerous to get near, because you will lose control of your character and die after that grab attack. These guys will also drop large titanite shards, which made me, because remember, I came down here before visiting Macduff and going to the Old Iron Keep, that I should farm them down here. Do not do that. Do not farm them down here. It is way too dangerous with that grab attack for you to bother with that. You should just walk away. I sound like Lord Humongous and Roadwear. Just walk away. That's all you need to do. Let's bring our torch down there, though, and take a look. Instead of proceeding along the sucker path down through those areas, and you can periodically go in there if you have like 100 fire arrows and shoot all of them at range and kill the guys and burn them alive while they're in the oil. But what you should really do, and there's already a message here showing us about it, try down there for hurrah for friend. That's right. I'm going to put on the cat ring before I pop down there. I did not notice this in my first couple of playthroughs. I had to read about it in the guide. Let's take a look down here. Yes. It's easy to fall to your death down here by overshooting it and going over the edge there, but hurrah, we are now at the very bottom, and we can now bypass large sections of this level and essentially not have to fight any enemies at all. But Lucatiel is down here, and she looks distraught, so we shall speak with her.
My thoughts are very scattered. What is this curse? The question rings in my mind, but I haven't the focus to answer it. Loss frightens me no end. Loss of memory, loss of self. If I were told that by killing you I would be freed of this curse, then I would draw my sword without hesitation. I don't want to die. I want to exist. I would sacrifice anything at all for this. It shames me, but it is the truth. Sometimes I feel obsessed with this insignificant thing called self. Even so, I am compelled to preserve it. Am I wrong to feel so? Surely you do the same in my shoes. Maybe we're all cursed from the moment we're born. Sometimes.
Okay. That's it with her. I let the torch keep burning for the atmosphere. Lucatiel has now really officially is really down the road towards losing any sort of point or purpose to her life. She needs some sort of goal, some sort of driving force to keep her going. There really is no objective meaning to live, no meaning beyond what we can apply to it. And she's lost any sense or any reason to keep on living. She lost her knighthood, so she no longer has the thing she worked so hard for her entire life for, because she died and became undead. She lost her brother. She lost everything. And she keeps talking about a sense of self. That again, maybe I'm going a little too far with this, but it reminds me of kind of the Buddhist image of the, your sense of self being lost with life, and you need to go through ego death and get rid of it and so forth. But again, maybe I'm going a little too far with that. Now we have to do something tricky that you're just going to have to watch. I can't exactly explain it, but if you see down there the first orange message we have, not the blue light, not that guy right next to the blue light, but that orange message next to those two guys, that's informing us that there is a place to drop down there and jump over the edge, and we can go to a new secret area where we're going to get something very important. It's also very easy to fall down there, I should note. Over here, we have another door we cannot open. Up above us, I didn't show this to you, but there are other enemies in this game. They're sort of like rock worms. I don't know if you can see them sticking out of the wall there. No, you can't see them. I'll try to show them to you later. They're not really, they're more of an environmental hazard because they cannot move outside of that wall. They can strike you near there, Now remember when I said way back in another game that it was a load of bullcrap that guy up there was the last giant? Well, we're going to be showing you the reason for that right now. Let's take a look. These guys are also giants, and what in God's name they're doing down here, I have no idea. These giants, by the way, are also fearsome enemies. So you really have to skirt left and come around into this cave as soon as you enter this area. And if you do, I mean, if you try to actually fight these guys, good luck. Because they are brutally difficult. And their hitboxes are a freaking joke. It is ridiculous how crummy their hitboxes are. You see how slow it is to use this weapon? I guess it makes sense for a strength character, but I can't even get 2 hits off of it. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but when you attack, see the stamina bar? When you don't have enough stamina that you normally would for that attack, you see, I can take about over half of my stamina. So if you go beyond the normal limits of your stamina with an attack, like if you attack you have just a tiny little sliver of stamina, like just that, there'll be a penalty to your damage, so there's a reason for you not to do that. If you have spells, you can spam these guys to hell and back with your spells. You can just go up there, see that guy's doing it right there. You can just go crazy with just a basic soul arrow. If you have a couple of amber herbs, these guys are going down quick, but if you actually try to fight them in melee combat, you are going to be we are going to be brutally defeated, and it's not even your fault. Because the hitboxes on those weapons, those big stone clubs they have there, are outrageous. They make no sense whatsoever. Once we kill these guys, we're going to be able to get a lovely ring that will allow us to open those doors. And you have to come down here in order to do that. You'll notice before we got Petrified Dragon Bone, that is the upgrade path, the upgrade item that you need to upgrade boss soul weapons. And it's probably the rarest upgrade item in the game, although with the DLC, they actually gave away quite a bit of it, just like with Twinkling Titanite. But I think Twinkling is more common. I'm not sure about that. I also like the clothes they're wearing. I wish we could get those pants in the game. You know, if you wanted to play like a barbarian character. They say that the giants are barbarians. You know, they're savages from another land, but we learn later on that it was probably the king who attacked the giants, not the other way around, and he pillaged their land for a great prize. What this prize is, I'm not exactly sure. I initially thought that maybe it was his queen that he got from the giants, but maybe it wasn't, because the queen told him about the giants, so it couldn't have been him. They can hit you if you stand in the doorway like that. And I guess they are programmed to not just stand there and die again and again. You know, at least they have them walk around a little bit. But this is just another big problem with this game. They should have designed the enemies to be fair and for you to want to fight them, not for you to need this little hidey hole area for you to be able to cheese them. There are huge parts of the game that are just kind of broken like that, and it's really unfortunate what they did with this license. And I wonder if I can free aim him. Yes, I can. And I once actually did defeat these guys unbelievably with just a basic club. Yes, just the basic club, the stick. I told you it's one of the best weapons in the game. And I came down here and just wailed on them with the torch in the other hand. I also don't like that when you get up next to them, your controller starts to shake and your character's movement slows down. Whether it's realistic or not, I'm not going to say, but you did fight enemies of similar size and weight. The Sentinels in Anor Londo in Dark Souls 1, and you didn't need to have that, your movement slowed down. It doesn't make any sense. It's not an interesting thing added to the game. It's not a good gameplay element. It just destroys your ability to fight. And it also makes it worse with the hitboxes, which are just shit. So, there's a lot of bad design choices here. What exactly these giants had, I'm not really sure. what they took with them, although maybe it was the power to make golems, which we see later on. I actually like the look of the Dragon Rider bow. It reminds me a little bit of the bow, like this huge, heavy bow that the Orc leader used in the Fellowship of the Ring to kill Boromir with. Maybe not how it's designed, but this is big and thick and slow to use. I remember him, drawing it. It took a long time because it was so fat and heavy looking. Now, what we picked up there, the Forgotten Key. I can take a look at it. Key found in the gutter. Well, it's not the gutter, it's the Black Gulch. That's strange. All manner of terrible things have been cast into the gutter in Majula, forming a settlement of filth and chaos. That was unenlightening. And we also got an item called a Soul of a Giant. But we don't actually need this until very, 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 very late in the game. Now I'm going to pop up here. Back there in those jars are some silver talismans. So if you wanted to joke around and, turn into things. But I've already showed you the silver talismans, and, I don't want to risk falling into that pit there. Now over here, I'll show you what to do. There was another bonfire directly across. I'm going to put an arrow where it is, right there. And we're going to have to run out across a ledge while all of these guys run at us. And it's going to take quite a while, and it's going to go by pretty quickly, is what I meant to say. But we still have quite a while left in the episode. And you see here, if you go the way I showed you, there's really no need to ever engage with any of the monsters in the level. You don't even need to really play the level. So it's like, what's the point? There is an item way down there, in that little section there. I'm going to put an arrow in it. But I think it's literally just a divine blessing, so there's no point to get it. Especially because the area is... the chest is directly in front of two poison-spitting statues, and you can't actually hit. Yeah, you can't actually hit them. You can see the worms over there. That you can't actually hit until you open the chest. So they've already poisoned you by the time you've opened the chest, and you may accidentally destroy the chest while trying to attack the guys behind it. They're not very strong, those worm guys. Sort of a missed opportunity there. I guess I can count them as non-humanoid enemies, of course, but they're so pointless there. What does it matter? Let's head back up to Majula. I'm also going to show you a weapon that I got before, but didn't mention, the Shotel. And the Shotel is a pretty interesting little weapon. It's sort of a curved sword that resembles more of a sickle than a sword. And it was in Dark Souls 1, and... well, yeah, I think it was in Demon Souls 2. I think Yurt had one. And what this thing does, it looks really strange, but this was a historical weapon, I believe of the Egypt, Nubia, and Ethiopia, that general region. And the idea was to hook around over someone's shield. And if you do this with, I think, just the strong attack, yeah, the strong attack will actually pierce through the enemy's shield and mitigate the fact that they have one. Really, the only iconic thing about this in the Souls games is that Lautrec has one, and I think Yurt has one. The bad murderer guys have this very weird, foreign-looking weapon. But this was a real weapon of that region, that sort of Egypt, Nubia, Kush, Axum, Ethiopia region. I wonder if it says anything interesting about it. Uniquely shaped curved swords and a reach around opponent's shield. No, that's about it. It is a dex weapon, as you might imagine, for something that you would need a lot of finesse to use. Let us put on the cat ring. This first area is filled with goodies for spell users, for sorcerers, and faith characters, and is vital for you to come down here if you are either of those things after you've got this key. However, for melee characters, you do not need to come down to this particular one. So if you're worried about the jumps, don't worry about it. It's not really an issue. Oh, I meant to use flask. There we go. Okay. And just drop down. You should also bring a homeward bone down here so you don't have to bother going down through the gutter. Let's pop up here. And we can finally open this door. What exactly those two giants were doing down there, I don't know. Did someone put them down there? Did they hide down there when Drangleic fell? I'm not even exactly sure what happened to the giants after 3 boxes full of goodies. What happened to the giants after Drangleic fell? Now that I think about it, did they say where the giants went or what they did? Or did they just fight each other to annihilation, like I said? I'm not really sure. I guess all the giants must be dead then. Or most of them. Soul Vortex. That's not an especially good spell. It's a sorcery. I don't remember that as being terribly useful, but this one has the Witch Tree Branch and the Witch Tree Bellvine. The Witch Tree Branch is one of the best staff weapons in the entire game. It has great cast speed, excellent damage, pretty good scaling. Not amazing, but pretty good scaling. And all in all, this is the one that you're going to want to upgrade to as quickly as possible if you're a sorcerer from the basic Sorcerer's Catalyst. And this one you should probably get all the way up to +10 because you're going to need it before you get up to later in the game where you're going to be getting the most powerful staff weapons. The most powerful staff weapons, things like the Staff of Mana and especially the Staff of Wisdom, you can only get towards the last quarter of the game. So you're going to want to beef this up, I think, as much as possible. It's really the best early game staff. And the Witch Tree Bellvine is very interesting because I think it is, that's Miracles and Hexes. This actually has pretty good scaling with Lightning at an A, and it might be able to get up with up to an S. It looks a little weird, if I remember right. It looks a little peculiar. With the Witch Tree Branch and the Witch Tree Bellvine. Yeah, the Witch Tree Branch looks cool. This really looks like a witch's catalyst. And the Witch Tree Bellvine, you can hear it. I know you probably can't hear it, but it's sort of like tinkling like bells. It looks a little bizarre, but it's pretty good for a faith character. And here, for those faith characters, you get something even better, something amazing, something tremendous. You get Great Lightning Spear. This is a truly amazing spell. See, Lightning Spear, you get 3 uses. Great Lightning Spear, only 2 uses. In the first part of the game, before the patches, you got like, I don't remember, it was like 8 casts or something of Great Lightning Spear, and bosses would just be demolished within seconds with that Great Lightning Spear. They would be torn to shreds by this spell. It was not even funny. It made the game kind of boring, but thankfully they limited the uses down here to only a couple. But you can still get a couple of these. I think you can get at least 2 Great Lightning Spears. I know you can get one much later in the Undead Crypt, but that's a very powerful spell. So you'll definitely want to come down here. Now, what you want to get for your melee characters, if you are a melee user, is in the gutter, where we can open up another door and get some very interesting armor. Some of you, I'm sure, already know what that armor is. I beg of you, do not use this armor. Please, please don't use this armor. I understand the temptation. Really, I do. I understand that I used the armor in Dark Souls 1 when I first got it. It really looked cool, but come on, guys. Have some dignity, have some self-respect. At the very least, if you use it, only use it with melee weaponry. And at least please try to fat roll when you do. I think you know what it is. What this armor is doing down here is baffling. Because there are so many questions about that. What the hell the armor is doing down here, it makes no damn sense. There's no reason I know for it to be down here. I don't know if one of the lore guys like Body Video said anything about it, but I don't think any of them could say something to satisfy me about this, what this armor could possibly be doing down here. But I do like that it at the very least is in the game. I would prefer them carry over pretty much everything per the previous Souls games, just toss it somewhere so we can use it. This area is full of these statues, and there's even more past the door. It's a huge pile of them. and you just have to bank on getting hit. You can't really just not get hit by them. There's just so many of them. Just assume that you're going to be poisoned. And again, I don't mind being poisoned. I think that's okay. I'll do that. But the fact that it staggers me like this, and I can't even frickin' move, God, that pisses me off. Again, if somebody was just throwing a bit of water in your face, imagine what that is. It's not... It doesn't add up to me. I'm just going to try to homeward bone out of here. It's almost as if the designers are trying to annoy you with that. And there's so much in this game, it's like they took the trolling from the first game. It's like they took the challenge from the first game and replaced it with trolling. If you wanted a one-word answer about why Dark Souls 2 is not as good as the first, there's your answer. They took challenge and replaced it with trolling. There's a way to make something difficult without making it obnoxiously so. And the thing that we just picked up there was, yes, it was Havel's armor. The heaviest armor in Dark Souls 1, and almost certainly the heaviest armor in this game. I can't think of anything that could possibly be heavier than that. Let me take a look here and see if I can find all this stuff. I actually think it does not look as good as it did in the first game. There's something a bit off about it. Where is it? Yeah, this is super heavy armor. It's supposed to be literally be carved out of a boulder. I don't even think I can roll. Yeah, I'm actually overburdened. This is what overburdened looks like. You can't even fat roll. You just sort of stagger when you try to roll. It's so much I can barely move. And can I even equip the shield when I'm like this? I don't even know. I do think it's appropriate to use the shield, though. That's okay. The shield is... I can actually use it two-handed. The shield is one of the best shields in the game. It has amazing resistances, 100 physical, 90 magic, 80 fire, 80 lightning, 75 dark. It's incredible. 75 stability. That's all amazing stuff. I think you do need petrified dragon bone to eventually upgrade that, though. If you want to use maybe just the gloves, the gloves do look kind of cool if you're running a fisticuffs character who wants to, it's kind of wrapped in chains there. It's amazing. It's almost like gloves wrapped in barbed wire. If you're running a character that just uses, just uses punches, I think that could be kind of cool. Or it has like a cestus or something. But other than that, please don't be that guy. Please, please, please do not use Havel's armor. Nobody wants to see you doing that. It is not something that really makes me happy, saying that. We'll put this Varangian leggings back on. And we just have one more place to go to, and that is with our good buddy, a friend that we're going to meet who has a covenant in the Black Gulch and can go through that door, that one door we haven't gone through. And of course we're just going to take the shortcut. Also, Lucatiel was there because you can summon her to fight for the boss of this area, the Rot. And it's a little strange. I was thinking about talking about this later, but I guess I won't. I don't like that you get all of this armor and weaponry right here. Because when we open up this next covenant with one of these characters, we can't open it up now, but we have to talk to him here in order to go along the path to opening it up. The covenant that we're going to open up is called the Pilgrims of Dark. And I think it might be one of the fewer PvE-related covenants, this and the Covenant of Champions. It is more about you and single player rather than helping multiplayer. And with this covenant, what you're essentially doing is teleporting in a way to these mysterious hidden areas in the game and fighting very tough Red Phantom enemies. And in these areas, there is absolutely nothing. There is nothing you can get, no item drops besides bonfire ascetics. There is just nothing. There's just the game. That's all that there is. And I was really especially annoyed at that when I was playing through here until I realized, well, wait a minute, they give you all of the rewards for going through those areas at the beginning before you go through them. What really would have made more sense gameplay design is that all of those things, like Havel's armor, the branch, and so forth, and the Great Lightning Spear, they should have been in each individual area, and you had to collect them by going into them. But it just makes going into these areas feel fruitless. Now, you do get something for completing the level, for completing the area that you're in, of course. And if you complete the entire Covenant, you do get items, including armor. But it doesn't make a heck of a lot of... It doesn't motivate me to go in there when you give me all of that stuff before the Covenant begins. This is a cool guy. He's one of the few parts of Dark Souls 2 lore I really like. He's Dark Diver Grandal, and he's in some sort of bizarre Victorian wheelchair.
Has wandered, and a very fit undead you are. A bit too alive, but with a darkish shadow. Yet still unprepared for a deeper dark. And like every undead, you have no future. Oh my, don't mind me. I'm just talking amongst myself. But if you find the need for a truer dark, then meet again. We shall.
That's quite a face he has there. A weird red gem stuck in the top of his forehead there. It's a little weird. He looks kind of exhausted or haggard, like he doesn't want to be doing this. He doesn't want to be playing this game. Every time I hear that, I think of shine, shine, shine your love, shine, shine, shine your love, shine your love. No? Nobody? Nobody from Angel's Revenge and MST3K? Nobody at all, huh? Okay. That's quite a stash and beard he has there. He really does look like a Gandalf-like wizard. And with this Covenant, we have to meet him in 3 separate areas before he will speak to us. You have to do it here, once in the Duke Deer Freya's section, called the Shaded Woods or the Shaded Ruins, and once in that Drangleic Castle where the king is. And then he will unlock a new section for a new set of levels for us to teleport to. I have a lot more to say about that Covenant there when we actually get to it. But it is confusing, trolling, very difficult, and I have to stress that unless you're a masochist or are a faith character, do not even bother with it, because you do get an amazing reward for a faith character. You get the best chime in the game if you go through that as a faith character, but it's very, very difficult to do. I think I'm going to, let's see if I should end the episode here. Well, I think I am actually going to go try and kill the Rotten with my last few minutes here. Might be over time already, but I'm just going to pop down there. The Rotten is a fairly easy boss. You can summon in 2 people to help you. One is Lucatiel, the other is an archer, whose name escapes me at the moment. Both of them are quite useless. Make sure to bring some of those poison things, because we're just going to be running through the poison statues, but they can typically hit you on the way down, and you're going to need to use one at the door. I do like to bring in the archer guy, though, because this next boss is actually pretty easy. The Rotten is a gigantic, sort of blobby figure who is covered from, who's sort of made up of the broken limbs and body parts of, I guess, the people that were discarded down here in the gutter. It's sort of a remake. Lone Hunter Schmidt, that's his name. It's sort of a redo of an idea that they did in Dark Souls, or excuse me, in Demon Souls with the Valley of Defilement. Come on, Lucas. See, these guys are already taking damage even before they've gotten in there. That's how pathetic they are. And these guys, before they did the patch, would almost certainly die instantly when they came in here, pretty much. This area is also covered with fire, which was a little surprising. You would have thought it'd be more poison stuff, but no, the poison statues do not, in this room, do not attack you during this area. He's sort of made up of bodies. And he has sort of like a weird, it kind of reminds me of a football helmet on his face there, which you cannot get, by the way. The Rotten seems also to be making these statues. Maybe, you know, at the farthest limit of my interpretations of what little we have, maybe he's saying that the broken, damaged people of society will spew poison at others in order to make themselves feel better. That weapon there he's using is a butcher's knife, and we can actually get it from his soul. It's fairly easy to dodge that, but he does, again, have a grab attack, which I should not have to tell you is deadly in a Souls game. He can also hit you even if he's facing the other way, because he can sort of, his swing sort of rebounds. Like that swing, that could have hurt me if I was facing the other way. Getting pretty good damage on him with only the +7 Claymore, though. Now, your stupid-ass AI is, there's really nothing you can do about them standing in the fire. They don't know any better. They're not bright people. They can stand in that lava fire, and obviously that could kill you very quickly. He also has a dark attack, I believe when you get to about 50% of his health down. You can actually cut one of his arms off and essentially leave him helpless, but again, that should have been a major part of the fight, not some random thing that you could do if you felt like, but almost certainly would not, because the guy is too easy anyway. He isn't damaged by the fire, but that was the grab attack I think he was doing there. And that is really dangerous. That, at least when I first played the game, I don't know if they changed it with a patch, that was like a one-shot. That grab attack. That's his dark attack. That can actually be fairly tough if you're standing right in front of it. That can really hurt you, especially if you don't have a good shield. Ooh, I don't think Lucatiel's going to survive. I don't think we're going to be able to complete her quest line. That stinks. And it wasn't really even my fault. It was not my fault, I swear. Because she should know better than to run around in fricking lava. I don't ask for much from my AI. I don't. I swear to you I don't. That was almost certainly the grab, too. But I know not to deliberately walk into fire. And he's dead. And we get the Soul of the Rotten. Over here, if we run past this, we can actually get a fire seed, so we can upgrade our pyromancy flame a little bit more. And also get another piece of sublime bone dust that we can burn inside the fire at Majula to increase the power of our Estus flask. I think that's all we get in here. And then we have another one of those, what are they called? Primal bonfires, that's it. And then we can just head over there. That green area leads to one of the DLCs, the Sunken Crown DLC. And we can now head back. Every time you relight a primal bonfire, a fire goes on inside of Kale's house, and you can see a little map being made with all of the fire coming on there. However, I don't really care about it, because there's no plot thing you can... I mean, maybe there's a plot, like some kind of a lore meaning to it or something like that, but I don't know. I also don't know where I'm going to be going in the next episode, so that'll have to be a surprise. Obviously not to you, because you're going to be reading the description of the video, but it's a surprise to me. I don't have to make sense. This is my video. Good night, everyone.